Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. May I ask you to please all stand for the national anthems of both Egypt and Great Britain. Thank you. Please be seated. Chair, Board of Trustees, Your Excellencies, Deans, students, honored guests. It is my privilege to be standing before you today at the British University in Egypt's very first presidential inauguration. This ceremony celebrates our 5th president and first vice-chancellor, Professor Mohamed Loutfi. With this inauguration comes a new era, an era where students take center stage of our strategic priorities and where creativity and competition are part and parcel of the learning process. To speak more about the university's new plans, please welcome the Chair of the Board of the Trustees, Ms. Farida Khamis.
Thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Your Excellency Ambassador Nabila Makram, Minister of Immigration and Egyptian Expatriates. Members of Parliament of the Arab Republic of Egypt. Your Excellency Ambassador Gareth Bailey, Her Majesty's representative to Egypt. Your Excellencies Ambassadors and members of the Diplomatic Corps. Members of the Board of Trustees of the British University in Egypt. Distinguished guests. Good afternoon. It's an honor to address you. I thank you for joining us on this special day and warmly welcome all of you, especially those of you who have traveled to be with us today. We truly appreciate your support. Welcome to the British University in Egypt. My beloved late father, Mr. Mohamed Farida Khamis, founded the British University in Egypt with purpose to inspire generations of Egyptian students. His passion was to make this university a beacon of higher education in Egypt and in the region. He believed that it's only through education that an individual can be empowered to unleash their potential. Our graduates use the knowledge that they acquire to discover their unique path and talents and contribute to the world and create the life that they want. Whether through our robust research, our cutting-edge state-of-the-art facilities, or our revered body of academics at the British University in Egypt, we believe in thinking and doing for the future. We believe in community and progress. We believe in the power of the individual to make a difference today and shape tomorrow. It is with great pride and joy that today we inaugurate a president who embodies all of these attributes and whose leadership will take us further in achieving the educational objectives that my late father placed in our care. Professor Loutfi is firmly committed to empowering our students and is guided by the founding principles of the British University in Egypt. And he is committed to continuing to transform this institution into a leading university. As we emerge from this extraordinary and challenging time, I am not planning to dwell on all his academic achievements. Here are some of the headlines. Professor Loutfi holds a BSc in Economics and Political Science, an MSc in Information Technology, and a PhD in Systems Thinking. He received his chair from Cardiff Metropolitan University in the UK. He is also a visiting professor of innovation and globalization at Eurasia University, China. He is also a professor at Coventry University in the UK. We are delighted to have Professor John Latham, the Vice Chancellor of Coventry, with us. He traveled all the way to be here on this special day, so thank you. I wish to speak for a moment to Professor Loutfi's character. A gentleman who is passionate about education and about allowing students to fulfill their dreams. He brings energy, insight, and a concern for others, and a vision for BUE and its students. He has often spoken about becoming a student-centered university, and I have seen firsthand how he has been applying this approach to new initiatives, so what better way to learn more about him than from one of the constituents he feels so strongly about. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Dr. Amr Saada, alumni of our very first graduating class of 2009. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Your Excellencies, honorable guests. My name is Amr Saada, and it is my great honor to stand in front of you on this remarkable day in the history of the British University in Egypt. Allow me to share with you why I've been chosen to speak to you today. I'm a lecturer at the School of Business here at the university, and recently I have been appointed as the Strategic Transformation Lead as part of the new President's Cabinet. But that's not why I'm addressing you today. I'm addressing you as the first student ever to join this university 16 years ago. I'm addressing you as the university's first graduate. And I'm addressing you as the university's first homegrown academic staff member. When I first joined the BUE, we were less than 200 students, only 3 faculties, and just a few buildings. And over the years, I have witnessed it grow into what it is today, a state-of-the-art campus that holds 11 faculties, 12,000 students, and over 1,000 of the best academic staff members in the region. Now, I've been hopeful in many instances during my journey at the BUE. I was hopeful when I welcomed Prince Charles in my first year of college, thinking to myself, wow, what a great way to start my college years. I was hopeful on my own graduation day, being part of the first graduating cohort ever, feeling that I'm all ready to conquer the world. And I was very hopeful when I became a PhD holder. But I have never been more hopeful than I am today. Being at the BUE for that long, I can safely tell you that the university is now on a fast track towards pioneering and leading the future of British higher education in the region. And that's exactly what the university's late founder and chair, Mr. Mohamed Farida Khamis, has always intended for it, to pioneer and lead rather than copy and follow. Luckily for us, our new president has no shortage of higher education experience in some of the most prestigious universities around the world. Working closely with Professor Loutfi over the past weeks, one could immediately tell that he's a visionary leader who works tirelessly towards his vision. His work ethic, systemic thinking, ability to foster a creative environment for his team, and his leading by example approach is something I truly look up to and learn from. There's so much to say about Professor Loutfi, so I thought it would be best to tell you about him through the eyes of the many prominent people who have worked with him throughout the years and unfortunately could not be with us today. The following is some of what they had to say. What Professor Mohamed Loutfi has achieved for the UK universities in which he has worked and universities across the Arab region is truly outstanding. And he has done this holding firmly to the values which have enabled universities around the world to serve their societies well for many generations. I had the great pleasure of working closely with Mohamed during his time in a leadership role in the UK university sector, and I wish him every success in his new role. He will represent an important link between the UK and Egypt in higher education. He made a huge success in his role and transformed the university and its standing in the international academic world. Professor Loutfi has a rare gift of being able to engage interpersonally with warmth and humor, making him a much-loved and highly regarded friend and colleague both academically and professionally. He stands out as an outstanding colleague and also one of my dearest friends. I've been working with Professor Loutfi for many years at the Magna Carta Observatory Council, where we strive to enhance and promote the core values in higher education all over the world. Mohamed is such a strong leader in international strategies of universities, as well as in practicing core academic values: independence, integrity, fairness, and responsibility. Mohamed was a pillar to help universities keep their original purpose of free and independent inquiry. I am certain that his present commitment to the growth and relevance of the BUE will be a challenge worthy of his full involvement, a challenge he will meet with his traditional empathy, charm, and enthusiasm. His boundless energy and strong desire to make important, worthy things happen has left a strong legacy of significant achievements throughout his career. I am confident Professor Loutfi will serve the BUE with his customary passion, professionalism, infectious enthusiasm, and dynamism. He will place the student experience squarely at the heart of his vision for the university. BUE is in very safe hands indeed. I have known Mohamed since I became Vice Chancellor of the University of Sunderland, where we became colleagues. I am very pleased that he has been appointed as your President and Vice Chancellor at the British University in Egypt. I first met Mohamed when I was President at the Magna Carta Observatory. He was an inspiration for us with his energy, inquisitive mind, and his constant search for new ideas and projects. He injected a new life and fresh air into our proceedings. And my absolute favorite one: every now and again, my faith in the world is restored when someone like Mohamed, who has worked so hard and been so much a trailblazer for higher education internationally, has all their work and commitment recognized. I've received so many other quotes from a lot of prominent people, but due to time constraints, I will not be able to read them all. The list includes Mail Khalil, President at the Beirut Marathon Association; Ewan Davies, Vice Chancellor at Bangor University; Sabur Khan, Chairman at Daffodil International University; and Andrew Walker, Director of Development at Resource Group Limited and former Director of External Engagement at Cardiff Metropolitan University. So as we can see, it is with consent from the people who worked with him that not only are we gaining a president with the gift of foresight, but a formidable force of nature that will take us into the new era with verve and purpose. Thank you.
Thank you, Amr. I would now like to ask His Excellency Ambassador Gareth Bailey, British Ambassador to Egypt, to the podium to say a few words. Thank you.
Let me just get the paperwork out. Good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Gareth Bailey, British Ambassador to Egypt. And there are other previous ambassadors on the podium and around this room, so you'll meet them all shortly. Minister Nabila, members of Parliament, Ms. Farida Khamis, Chair of the Board of Trustees, honourable members of the Board of Trustees gathered here today, faculty of staff and students, Vice-Chancellor Latham, ambassadors, members of the Diplomatic Corps, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Mohamed Loutfi, about to be president of this university, and friends, it is my honour to join what is one of the most extraordinary events of this year. But let me take you somewhere else, and then we will arrive at Mohammed in a few minutes' time. Diplomacy. Let's start there. Diplomacy gets a very bad rap, ladies and gentlemen, by which I mean that diplomacy often has a bad reputation. It is often seen as taking care of business, sorting things out, more like The Godfather or The Sopranos than the noble calling of international relations. Sir Henry Wotton, English ambassador, for it was England in those days, to Venice in the 17th century, said an ambassador is an honest man sent to lie abroad for the good of his country. And for those of you who would like to come a little bit closer to home and in education, many of you will be familiar with the film Morgan Ahmed Morgan. مش كده ولا إيه? Adil Imam, obviously close to all of our hearts, was a gentleman who, in his role as Morgan Ahmed Morgan, decided he could buy his education and he could fill a gap in his heart and in his soul through the acquisition of contacts and through rashawa and shay bil yasmin. And so, as a diplomat and as an educator, if I may say, both of us need to think a little bit harder about describing the positives of our callings. But there are rare times, however, ladies and gentlemen, when good things happen. The good of two countries comes together. When things are not as bad as all that. When connection is the first thing we all think about. And returning here again after 20 years, Umm Dunya, I feel a proud, proud sense of being a servant of that connection. The Prime Minister and His Excellency President Sisi talk about a strategic partnership, taking things to a whole new level. And above all, this is a year coming where Egypt will be at the center of everybody's attention as the president of the climate conference, COP27, in Sharm el-Sheikh in less than a year's time. And we've just had our summit in Glasgow, my hometown, and also Magdi Ishaq's hometown, more or less, in COP26. So together we have a real connection. We have a partnership. We have something truly good that we can do together. No lies, no deceit, no difficulty, just win-win. And only a few weeks ago, His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales was here to celebrate that connection and to celebrate the role of Egypt as a champion of the environment and against climate change. And the role of faiths, and here we have the home of really the most important faiths in protecting environment and protecting climate. And if all these good things should ever hesitate and falter and be less than they should be, I can always turn to my good friend Mohammed Salah, because, as you know, he is also royalty. He is Al-Malik al-Masri, the Egyptian king. And this gentleman is who I also call the other ambassador, because he does my job when I'm not doing my job. So we have a connection there as well, through sport and through honesty, through integrity, through leadership. That's Mohammed Salah, not me. What is all this talk of connection, kalimat yani, to do with what we're here to do today, the inauguration of the fifth president, Professor Mohamed Loutfi? Only this: the connection, friends, is nothing if it is connection of the ignorant, the unenlightened, the uninspired, or bullies, people who would oppress and not free. Connection is everything when it is the connection of the educated. Connection between the UK and Egypt is particularly strong when you think about our direct links. Every day that I'm here in Egypt, I meet somebody who says, aha, I was educated in insert name of British university. Or my son, my daughter, my grandson, my granddaughter, my niece, my nephew, my uncle, my aunt, we all have British educations to be proud of. So we have something which we can cherish, and we can put it through a British-Egyptian lens. And President Sisi has made abundantly clear to Prime Minister Johnson, and indeed to His Royal Highness, his desire to see this educational link go ever, ever deeper and ever, ever higher. Because education gives connection, its energy, its creativity, its ambition, and its courage. And Professor Loutfi himself has said that university is where you are encouraged to doubt, to imagine, to assimilate, to explore the unknown, and have a culture, dare we say it, of dissent. And this university has written large its motto that it is here that we do how to think, not what to think. And while there is a necessary time for reflection and introspection, that time cannot be always and forever. Connection demands an outward frame of mind. In both the UK and Egypt, my friends, we see this. Rania Mashat, Her Excellency the Minister of International Cooperation, only a few days ago said to me, Egypt is at an end of this era of introspection. That is not what we are about. We are about looking forward and outward. And as Ms. Farida said when she announced the appointment of Mohamed Loutfi, she said that we welcome and are honored to see him appointed at a time of rapid expansion and a transformation program to enhance the university's position as a leading university in the region. And I could say, surely that is exactly what Egypt says about itself today. Expansion, transformation, enhancing of a leadership position. And my own Foreign Secretary this very week has only just called on friends and allies around the world to step away from introspection and isolationism, to influence and inspire others and build new partnerships. This then is the connection that we seek, global, inspiring, future-proof, and of integrity. It's that kind of connection, for those of you who finished the whole of the film of Mr. Morgan, Ahmed Morgan, the end of the movie, he is reconciled. He sees that it's not about buying your way to something or influencing your way to something. It's about your integrity. It's about your education. It is about looking within and then turning out and connecting to friends. So finally, let me turn to Professor Mohamed Loutfi, about to be President Mohamed Loutfi. As I do that, however, I turn to a favorite theme, our predecessors. Isaac Newton said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." For myself, I will never ask whether I stand on the shoulders of luminaries such as Sir Derek Plumley, here with us today, or my own predecessor, Sir Geoffrey Adams. I will leave them to be the judge for a quiet moment outside this room. But what I will say, and we all know it, is that Professor Mohamed Loutfi stands upon the shoulders of giants. We have here today Professor Mohamed El Feki, right there. We have Mostafa El Feki. شفت بقى حصل إيه? And Professor Hamza as well. And it's a board of giants, including right here today, of course, Magdi Yacoub, who needs no introduction, Secretary General Amr Moussa, and so many of British and Egyptian luminaries who make this board how effective it is today. And so, let me only add to what has already been said on these slides, that we have with us the next generation in a leader who is Professor Mohamed Loutfi. He is everything you want to see in a leader and a president. He happens to be an Alexandrian, which I think is a good thing. He's also an innovator and a profound thinker. He is a committed internationalist, so international in his mind that he has even been a professor of internationalization, a man who has traveled the length and breadth of the world, from Norway to the United Kingdom, from Italy to China. So I would suggest to you, friends, that this university has in Mohamed what it needs. There is no better candidate to lead this university forward as the 5th president. And if you do not want to take my word for it, then let me give you the words of somebody who could not have been here today, or wished he could have been here today. He was here a few weeks ago, and that is His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales. And he has written a letter, which I have here for Professor Mohamed Loutfi and Ms. Farida and the university in my hand. I will give it to them in a moment, but let me read it here now from a copy. Ladies and gentlemen, I was absolutely delighted to hear of the appointment of Dr. Mohamed Loutfi as president of the British University in Egypt. While I am so sorry not to be there in person, I did just want to send my warmest congratulations on the occasion of his inauguration today. I attended the opening of this university in 2006 under your first president, Dr. Mostafa El Feki, and congratulated the Board of Trustees on the occasion of their celebrating the 10th anniversary of the university. And now on the 15th anniversary of the founding of this fine university, and as the new president is inaugurated, I want to convey my very best wishes for continuing success to Dr. Loutfi, the Board of Trustees, the faculty and the staff of the university, together with all good fortune to the students of the British University in Egypt, past, present, and to come. Signed, His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales. Thank you. So, كفاية كده مني. في ناس تانيين عايز يتكلم. But let me just say this. Mohamed, congratulations. It's extraordinary what you have achieved, and I know what you will achieve. And behind every man and woman, there is a very surprised wife and husband. So may I also say to Heba and to Nail, their son, congratulations. I look forward to your adventure going ahead. It's going to be amazing. بالتوفيق يا باشا. I commit from my side to being a partner, a friend, not a liar, not a corrupt guy. Not going to be Morgan, Ahmed Morgan, السفير البريطاني أحسن كده. And we will together serve an open, deep, and great connection between our two countries for now and for the generation to come. Ahmed, Mohamed Loutfi.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for that moving speech. We'd like to take a moment to send our very best greetings to His Excellency, Dr. Khaled Abdel Ghaffar, who couldn't be with us today, unfortunately, as he was called away on an unforeseen presidential engagement. But we would like Her Excellency, Minister Nabila Makram, Minister of Immigration and Expatriate Affairs, to come up and say a word if she may. Thank you.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, allow me to address you in Arabic due to our issues related to our Egyptian identity. من يومين كنت في المنتدى العلمي الدولي للتعليم العالي والبحث العلمي. واللي شرفوا بالحضور فخامة السيد الرئيس، وإحنا كوزراء كنا مع فخامته أثناء تجوله في المعرض قبل بدء فعاليات هذا المنتدى. اتفرجنا على نماذج لجامعات أهلية وخاصة، وتوقفنا عند المكان أو البوث الخاص بالجامعة البريطانية. وكنت سعيدة جدا أن أرى دكتور محمد لطفي واقف قدام فخامة الرئيس، وهو فخامة الرئيس بيسمع عن ما قامت به الجامعة البريطانية من تطور ومن جهد ومن مشاركة حتى في كل المبادرات الرئاسية زي حياة كريمة. المشهد ده بالذات استوقفني أولاً طبعاً لمعزة الجامعة البريطانية ودكتور محمد فريد خميس الله يرحمه، واللي أنا متأكدة أن روحه معانا النهاردة في هذا اليوم الخاص. إنما غير المعزة وغير المحبة للجامعة البريطانية استوقفني مشهد الجمهورية الجديدة، المشهد اللي فيه فخامة الرئيس أمامه مصري في الخارج قرر العودة مرة أخرى إلى مصر عشان يتولى رئاسة الجامعة البريطانية. زمان كنا بنتكلم يعني هم المصريين في الخارج هل ليهم هذا الشغف؟ هل ليهم هذا الولاء؟ هل ليهم هذا الانتماء؟ بروفيسور مجدي يعقوب لما رجع من إنجلترا وقرر إنه هو يدي من خبرته الطبية العالمية لبلده، ما بخلش على مصر بيها، وده ادانا إشارة كبيرة جدا بروفيسور مجدي يعقوب ادى إشارة إنه لا، إحنا سافرنا وهاجرنا، الدولة مش ضد المصريين في الخارج اللي هاجروا واللي يقرروا إن هم يعيشوا برا، ده حق إنساني، ولكن روح مصر جواهم في الوقت اللي هو بيشعر إنه ده الوقت إن يجي ويرجع علشان يدي لبلده من خبرته، هو ده وقته، هو اللي عارف كويس جدا إن ده التوقيت المناسب. إنما بيرجع. وزمان كنا بنسمع عن القوى الطاردة اللي بتطرد المصريين إذا كانوا عاوزين يرجعوا يدوا من خبرتهم، أنت جاي تاخد مكاني، أنت جاي عشان تنافسني، إحنا بنعرف أحسن. كل الكلام ده تم نسفه لأن إحنا أمام زي ما قلت لحضراتكم جمهورية جديدة بترحب بأبناء الوطن في الخارج إن هم يرجعوا وإن هم يدوا من خبرتهم. فمشهد دكتور محمد لطفي أمام سيادة الرئيس كان مشهد بالنسبة لي أنا كوزيرة للهجرة وللمصريين في الخارج، مشهد تأثرت بيه تأثر بالغ، وعرفت إن إحنا مش بس هو هاشتاج على التلفزيون الجمهورية الجديدة، ولكن إحنا فعلا بنعيش الجمهورية الجديدة وبنشوفها قدام عينينا. سعيدة جدا إن أنا شفت نائل قاعد في آخر الصف بينظر إلى والده وهو داخل القاعة، والفخر والعزة اللي شفتهم في عينين نائل وريتني إزاي إنه أبناء الجيل الثاني والثالث في الخارج أيضا بيؤمنوا إنه لما بيجي الوقت أيوة والدي ينزل ويتولى رئاسة الجامعة، وأنا ممكن أحصله وممكن لأ، بس أنا بحب بلدي وأنا عارف كويس جدا إنه الوقت ده هو وقت مصر اللي كل المصريين في الخارج عايزين يساعدوا بلدهم. والزوجة اللي أنا متشرفة إن أنا أقعد جنبها أستاذة هبة. سعيدة بقى بحاجة تانية خالص، والسفير البريطاني Your Excellency you just mentioned that Alexandrians are different. They are. دكتور محمد بلدياتي اسكندراني أصيل، وهبة اسكندرانية أصيلة، فكمان بيزداد فخري إن ولاد بلدياتي ولاد مدينتي الإسكندرية سيادة المحافظ قاعد وبحيي حضرتك. ازاي لا، احنا مع يعني طبعا احترامنا الشديد لكل محافظات مصر، بس في نعرة كده قومية لازم الواحد يتكلم عليها. هبة زوج الدكتور محمد لطفي اللي وقفت جنب زوجها مش بس في الغربة إنما في قراره في العودة. ما تفتكروش إنه ده قرار بيبقى سهل، ده قرار فيه مليء من الحسابات ومليء بالقرارات، إنما أنا متأكدة إنه هذا القرار مع زوجته الفاضلة هما الاثنين قرروا إنه هما ييجوا مرة تانية ويدي من هذه الخبرة اللي شفناها وكل الكوتس اللي احنا شفناها لبلده. والجامعة البريطانية محظوظة بكل الحقيقة يعني رؤسائها السابقين ومجلس إدارتها، هيئة التدريس، الطلبة زي ما عمرو كان بيتكلم. الحقيقة الجامعة بتكبر يوم عن يوم، والجامعة في تطورها أنا بشوف فيه الكثير من الجهود، ومتأكدة أنه برئاسة الدكتور محمد لطفي لهذه الجامعة وبالتعاون مع أمينة وفريدة بالتأكيد هيكون في نقلة أخرى نوعية، مع احترامنا لكل الرؤساء السابقين اللي تولوا قيادة هذه الجامعة. إنما دايما بقول هنا مصنع التعليم، وهنا اللي بنشوف الطلبة والطالبات إزاي بيقدروا إن هم يتمكنوا من المادة بتاعتهم، عشان وراهم أساتذة أفاضل يقدروا إن هم يوريهم الطريق ده، ويقدروا بعد كده إن هم يتولوا قيادة الدولة. كل الأجيال اللي طالعة من عندنا هي إحنا بنشتغل لهم يعني بنعد لهم الطريق، عشان في يوم من ذات الأيام هم اللي هيقودوا الدولة المصرية. خلوني وبعد إذن حضراتكم طبعا إن أنا أتمنى لدكتور محمد كل التفوق والنجاح، وسعيدة إنه مصري في الخارج رجع مرة أخرى إلى الجامعة البريطانية عشان يقدر إنه هو يقودها ويطلع لنا أجيال جديدة كلنا الحقيقة نحتفي بيها ونفخر أيضا بيها. ورايا وزيري قاعد، الوزير عمرو موسى. ولسه أنا يعني كنت التقيت معاه في إيفنت، وفعلا إحنا ولاد الخارجية كنا بندخل الخارجية وندخل الامتحانات الخارجية عشان نبقى بس مع عمرو موسى. فقدوة كبيرة جدا وأيقونة كبيرة جدا لوزارة الخارجية المصرية ولكل الدبلوماسيين. تحية خاصة لمعالي الوزير. إلى جانبه أستاذي الفاضل اللي ما أقدرش أسيب الحقيقة خشبة المسرح من غير ما أحييه أيضا، دكتور مصطفى الفقي. في أعتاب دخولنا وزارة الخارجية كنا بندخل المعهد الدبلوماسي. المعهد الدبلوماسي هو يعني عايزة أقول الفترة الانتقالية مننا إحنا يعني شباب بيلتحق بالعمل الدبلوماسي. نقعد في هذا المعهد الدبلوماسي عام إلى حين تعييننا الحقيقي في وزارة الخارجية. يعني أنا كنت محظوظة ومتشرفة أنه في عام 93 سنة التحاقي بوزارة الخارجية كان دكتور مصطفى الفقي هو رئيس المعهد الدبلوماسي. قضيت معاه أنا ودفعتي العزيزة دفعة 25 في وزارة الخارجية أسعد سنة. هو اللي ورانا ماذا أو من يكون الدبلوماسي وإزاي إنه هو يشتغل في وزارة الخارجية. تحية وتقدير لحضرتك. القاعة مليئة بالقامات الكبيرة والرفيعة. أنا يعني متشرفة أن أنا موجودة النهاردة بين حضراتكم، ولكل واحد ولكل واحدة موجودة أنا يعني بقدم كل التحية والتقدير. ومرة أخرى يا دكتور محمد أنا سعيدة جدا كوزيرة للهجرة وكمواطنة مصرية وكاسكندرانية أصيلة بوجود حضرتك النهاردة. شكرا جزيلا. ميرسي.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for that very moving speech. The time has come, so I would like to ask Chair Farida Khamis, President Incumbent Professor Mohamed Loutfi and Dr. Amr Sida to come to the front of the stage for the investiture of the President.
By the virtue of the authority of the British University in Egypt and its Board of Trustees, I am honored to present you with this key and to name you the 5th President and 1st Vice-Chancellor of the British University in Egypt. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chair.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Mohamed Loutfi.
It's getting a bit emotional here. Honored guests, good afternoon. Chair of the Board of Trustees, thank you for such a warm introduction, and thank you for such a warm introduction from everyone that spoke today. Standing in this wonderful hall here today and being honored this way is a very humbling and somewhat an overwhelming experience for me. I will start by recognizing our distinguished guests who honored us by their presence here today, and others that were unable to join that are watching this through streaming. Ministers, university presidents, members of the House of Parliament, society leaders, trustees, alumni, distinguished academics, colleagues, honored guests, friends and family, friends, old friends and new friends, not only from Egypt, but many of you have traveled far afield to be with us here today. In particular, I'm grateful to you. We are all aware of the difficulties that the current pandemic has created into international travel. Your gift of your valued time is priceless. The only word I can find to say here is, and to express my gratitude to you all, is thank you. It's an amazing being able to stand before you and share this special moment in time, for me, at the British University in Egypt. I'm proud to have been chosen to be part of this community. I particularly want to recognize and thank people who have played a role in my life. The time doesn't allow me to name you all, but I'm sure you will all know in your hearts the gratitude I feel towards you all. I do want to recognize my loving family, my wife Heba, who has supported me over the years, without whom I wouldn't be standing here today. It was a long journey for both of us. Last month was our 30th wedding anniversary. My son Niall, my son Yusuf, who couldn't make it with us today, and my younger son Nail, who is here with me today, both inspire me, and I continue to learn a lot from both of them. Nail, I bet this will come as a surprise to you. Do you recall during the pandemic when I asked you what a university community means to you? Your response surprised me and got me thinking. You said, and I'm quoting you here, this is an implicit lesson for you, proper quoting, son, and referencing. You said, if I talk to a classmate during the lecture and they respond, there is a trust or a bond that is created at this moment in time. And this classmate will be the first on your list when choosing who to work with in a group assignment. I never thought of it this way. And that image of trust and communication has stayed with me and shaped my thoughts. I also owe a great debt to my parents, who were a constant source of encouragement and support to me. My late father always believed in globalization without even defining it. He gave me the opportunity to be a global citizen myself, I lived and studied in 5 countries and worked in more than 20. When I was growing up, I learned certain values from my parents: integrity, empathy, self-discipline, easier said than done. My father was a hard worker, and the quote that would always remind me of him: the success you take from your life will be equal to what you put in. This puts everything in clear perspective to me. And I've learned confidence from my mother. She never feared to buck the trend or go against the grain. She always believed in doing what was right. I also want to mention certain figures that inspired me throughout my career. I'll start by Professor Issam Salem, who's the former president of Alexandria University, who is a key role model for myself and for many. In my 20s, I used to run for Alexandria Sporting Club elections, and he was always there for me. And he used to say, "I'm not here to support Mohamed in the elections," as he worked for Alexandria University. "I'm here to help prepare a future university president." This always resonated with me. The late Mr. Adel El-Sunusi, the former president of Alexandria Sporting Club, his golden advice was, "Love people even if they hate you. They will learn to love you one day." Professor Mustafa Hassan, Professor Sharif Andil, when I was contemplating about going to the UK for my doctoral studies, they said, "You can either choose to be a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a large pond." I chose the latter and never regretted it. Professor Alfredo Moscardini, sitting with us here today, he was not only my supervisor, my director of studies and mentor, but he taught me how to think systemically, not systematically. Many do not understand the difference, and this was a paradigm shift in my development. Professor Hossam Badrawi, mentoring is not an easy task. He always believed in me and supported me. Professor Peter Fidler, the former Vice Chancellor of Sunderland University. Professor Ustin Erguder, Seibold Norde, the former presidents of the Magna Carta Universitatem, and my friend David Locke. Being with them on the Council of the Magna Carta Universitatem for eight years shaped my understanding to higher education. Dr. Andries Barblan, the Secretary General of CRE, Council of Rectors of Europe, that became at a later stage EUA, the European University Association, who made me think of what is expected from a university, not from our view as academics, but from the society point of view. Professor Anthony Chapman, Vice Chancellor of Cardiff Metropolitan University, who believed in me. I can't start by describing our relationship. To put it in simple words, he shaped the person I am today. Professor John Latham, who I'm grateful to on many fronts, but most importantly, for getting me to recognize that being dyslexic is a strength, not a weakness. We are simply wired differently, and with differentiation comes innovation. Last but not least, Professor Hossam Badrawi, Professor Ashraf Hatem, Professor Ismail Abdel Ghaffar, Professor Ahmed El-Gohari, and General Muhammad Abdullah, who are not only friends, but also played a role when I was making the decision to return back to Egypt. And many people across the path that believed in me and supported me. I approached today's installation as president of the British University in Egypt with a sense of both honor and humbleness. I was happy and fulfilled at Coventry University, both personally and professionally. And I'm asked repeatedly now about my decision to return to Egypt, and more specifically to the BUE, and my answer has always been the same. It's an opportunity to make the sort of real and lasting impact that I have prepared for my entire life. I want to thank the Board of Trustees, especially the Chair, the Minister of Higher Education, for their confidence in me, and to members of the university community for their welcoming embrace over the last 3 months. You've been wonderful, and I sincerely appreciate it. Perhaps now it's a good time to mention my predecessors as president. I have had many colleagues tell me about the wonderful work of all of them. Today we have with us Professor El Feki and Professor Hamza, and also to those that cannot be here with us and have been an important factor in the success of this university. Thank you all. I believe we should be all incredibly grateful for the work of those who have traveled the path before us to get us here. Please share with me a round of applause for these trailblazers. The British University in Egypt is a well-established university. I often refer to it as the world's best-kept secret. But what makes a great university? That's a question. And here I will quote Jamil Salmi, in my view, one of the great thinkers of modern higher education. Jamil, who some of us know personally, argued that the world-class university gives the rise to highly sought graduates and leading-edge research and technology transfer, and requires three features: talent, which is the critical mass of staff and students to develop innovation; resources, which is the finances and facilities for rich learning environment; and governance, which is the leadership and management and administration to develop this and deliver a strategic plan. But most importantly, it's the values. As individuals or as an institution, what are our values? Who we are? What do we believe in? What do we stand for? Who do we work with? When and how do we want to make an impact? And what do we expect from ourselves and others? For me, it all started in 2004 at the Global Integration of Graduate Programs Conference. I used to run this with Professor Alfredo Moscardini in different cities across the world, starting from Sunderland, Irkutsk, Donetsk, Split, Amman. Convergence through education, and this is following from what Ambassador Bailey said. Convergence through education was suggested as the conference theme by Andries Barbland, the Secretary General of the Magna Carta at the time. This was a line of thought, as universities are expected to be at the forefront of modernizing the society by pushing the boundaries of science and researching into the unknown, and to ensure that societies are prepared for tomorrow. In that sense, universities might well as be the platform for convergence through education, to facilitate the intercultural discussions leading to a mutual understanding of the needs of societies and cultures between different areas across the world. We live in a world burdened with conflict, and I have been dwelling on how can we, as higher education community, work towards this noble objective, convergence through education. Following from this, I was influenced with my tenureship at the Magna Carta Universitatum Board. The Magna Carta is an essential document that celebrates the deepest values of university traditions and especially cherishes academic freedom and institutional autonomy as the foundation of the knowledge society. Universities are under great pressure these days than ever before to perform well in many regards, and the Magna Carta maintains that one of the prime factors to enable universities to do well is that they have sufficient freedom to set their own targets and define their own strategies. To me, innovation is a function of creativity, and creativity is a function of the culture of dissent, to argue and to assimilate, which is a direct outcome of academic freedom. During the past few months as president, I have spent much of my time learning about this exceptional place. I have had the pleasure to meet and speak with hundreds of people, warm, friendly, dedicated, proud, supportive, enthusiastic, and result-focused people. And many of you know I've spent a lot of time asking a lot of questions. What do we do well? What are colleagues worried about? What are people most proud of? How can we continue the journey of this institutional improvement? First seek to understand, then be understood, quoting St. Francis of Assisi. I will continue to listen to the views of everyone who has stake in our community as I formulate my plans to ensure the growth and sustainability of this wonderful place. You know, it's easy to join an organization and make assumptions. I've seen firsthand where new leaders have come in with preconceived notions about change that needs to be implemented, only to find out that their understanding of how a place ticks is not complete. Of course, it's inevitable that some things need to change, but there is often good reasons for why some things are the way they are. Most importantly, why are we doing things in the way we're doing them? And this is the core of system thinking, unlocking our minds of dormant prepositions. During my first 100 days at the British University in Egypt, we have focused on building confidence in the competence of leadership of the British University administration, and on formulating an organic and inclusive vision of excellence and shared transparent government. We started recruiting top-quality leadership team from across the world, worked on empowering our best leaders, reflected on our previous strategic plan, launched a portfolio review and an establishment review to enable us to build a sustainable fiscal strategy and a budget process. Also, we supported a consortium of like-minded academics in Egypt and abroad, building on the momentum of major societal initiatives like the Sustainable Development Goals, renewable energy, and Haya Karima. And I would like here to thank Professor Hisham Al-Askari for agreeing to support our Haya Karima working group initiated by our brilliant academics. My vision for the future of BUE revolves around 4 strands. The first strand is our identity as the British University in Egypt. It's our most distinguished asset and greatest competitive edge. For now, this is how we will be known, the British University in Egypt, not BUE. Second strand, in our strategic direction, which includes our purpose, which revolves around creating global citizenship fit for employment in the global marketplace, and shared priorities that fulfill our social contract with the society. But more importantly, capturing the values within the institution, culminating in a can-do attitude, the British University way. Third strand is aligning the strategy and tactics for the British University in Egypt. Tactical thinkers are about doing things right, while strategic thinkers are about doing the right thing. In other words, we will be doing things right and doing the right thing at the same time in the BUE. Strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. Tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. Quoting Sun Tzu. Final strand, which is aligning all our staff with the purpose. It is about all staff in the institution knowing the direction of the university and the direction of travel and feeling or knowing that they can contribute to this happening. We are living through challenging times, and we at the British University in Egypt are embarking on our new strategy. These are exciting times for us, and I'm always reminded with the quote from Michelangelo, the greatest danger is not to aim too high and miss it, but it's to aim too low and achieve it. In other words, we will aim high and we will achieve it. In short, our intermediate and long-term goals are ambitious but achievable. And my promise to this wonderful institution is, I will strive to continue to work with you all to create a clear purpose, to doing the right thing, and to putting the concerns of our students and staff at the forefront and center of what we do. This institution will earn the right to be the first choice for undergraduate and postgraduate education in communities and societies they serve. We will be going on a journey together by living up to the expectations of our founder, the industrialist Mohamed Farida Khamis, referred to by many as a force of nature, whose intention for this institution was to be the best in class. He described the British University in Egypt as the most important factory, the factory of men that will help build the nation, placing humankind at the center of his focus, which is aligned with the definition of a university. In Latin, a university is universitas. Unim verter, it's turned to the one. Ad unum verter, it's placing man at the center. And man here, it refers not only to a gender, but humankind, all of us. I'm confident, but by placing humankind, el-insan, our students, and by placing the students' experience at the heart of what we do, we will achieve great things. بناء الإنسان أولوية للسيد الرئيس لبناء جمهورية جديدة. Thank you.
Thank you, President Loutfi. With that, we come to the end of the official ceremony, but I would like to kindly ask you to remain seated until the stage party has exited, and we hope that you will join us for the reception, which you can reach from either of these 2 side doors as soon as the stage party has exited. Thank you very much.
اليوم قصير صدقوني بالنسبة لمصر عاوزاه منكم واللي عاوزاه من كل واحد. بيعمل لصالح بلده.